right, welcome back. This is episode 19 of Happy Hour with Heather and Guest. I'm that other dude, Andrew, joined as always by Heather. And if you couldn't already tell, today we're both rocking Beastmaker gear, representing. They're a phenomenal doom band out of Fresno, California, I think. The brainchild of Trevor Church, who is also in another band called Haunt. I think he's pretty much the songwriter, the producer. He does the recording. He's the main force behind it. And they put out, I mean, if you go to Bandcamp, there's like 15 different albums you can get. So
yeah. Big Beastmaker fan.
Yeah, they're definitely worth checking out. So today we're both rocking Beastmaker, feeling good. Today was Heather's. We flip-flopped back to Heather's suggestion. So we're going to kick things off with a band that I absolutely loved listening to. All the bands you've recommended so far, I've loved listening to. This one was no exception. Black Willows from, and I'm not going to pronounce it correctly, Lausanne, Switzerland? Lausanne?
Yeah.
From Switzerland.
Switzerland. I can say
yes. I'm not 100% sure how you would pronounce. I should have probably looked up the correct pronunciation, but yeah.
And I do believe this is the first band that we've talked about that's from Switzerland.
I think you're right. I mean, we've covered a lot of European bands before. And yeah, this might be the first one from Switzerland. So well done. But yeah, we listened to Black Willows, 3 albums. And then we're going to review the latest album, Hanged, Drawn, and Quartered from Troll Teeth. And then we're going to end with a new category where we find music from the vault or from the lost ark, or whichever analogy works. A lost treasure that I happened to discover through an awesome video, and then Heather and I will discuss it. So let's kick things off. We're going to start, I believe the first album was called Haze, and it came out in 2019. 2013. Okay. So that's why, yeah. You keep me on the straight and narrow with the proper facts and figures. So, all right. So we listened to, let me just pull up my notes. First of all, I liked how that they were described as heavy shamanic rock. And on Bandcamp and other places, YouTube, it reads, Black Willows causes an altered sensory experience of senses, emotions, memories, time, and awareness for 6 to 14 hours, depending on dosage and tolerance. So at the beginning, I had a very low dosage threshold, but by the end, I was listening to 25-minute long songs like they were nothing. So kicking things off with Haze, we listened to Neptune, A Dead Mantra. What were your thoughts of Neptune?
Neptune. If you're a fan of heavy psych or psych doom, you will absolutely love Black Willows. I promise you. This song has a subtle power to it, and there's real beauty in the guitar riffs and understated vocals. This is truly some of the best music you will find in this genre.
Definitely. I agree. Neptune was a great track to start off with. And I wrote right off the bat, killer riff and tone, like all the pistons are firing at once. So much so that, since the brain aneurysm, I'm hesitant to headbang. So what I do is I do a side bop, where I just sort of do this as I'm listening to, to the beat. And that's my version of headbanging. And I caught myself almost immediately doing the side bop. And I said that this song would be a scene in the movie where the hero is assembling a weapon to fight the villain. Like he's assembling a weapon blacksmith style with like a iron, with like an anvil and hammer and tongs and whatnot. But I thought this would be the perfect song. And then it sort of becomes a spacey psychedelic flotation where all of a sudden you're just in the stratosphere. And then I wrote that the lyrics kick in, they're very soothing. And then everything's combined, sort of this like spacey flotation with this sort of killer riff tone. And then I said in the stratosphere, and then I just started doing like word association. And I thought stratosphere, and then I thought of the He-Man character Stratos. Do you remember the He-Man character Stratos? Probably not.
No, I remember He-Man, but I don't remember any of the other characters.
Yeah, Stratos was one of the peripheral characters that didn't appear very often, but I just remembered him, Triclops, Beastman. These were people that Ram Man. But yes, so Stratosphere, and then I thought Stratos, and then it ends with a bluesy stoner outro. The song does, not Stratos. But yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. This is a great jam that sort of exemplifies the pinnacle of this genre.
Yes.
So after Neptune, we listened to Dead Mantra.
Yeah. And I do like how they say that they're heavy shamanic rock. I mean, to me, that's the perfect description. I wish I could make music this good. This will take you on a journey, and the more you listen to it, the more you hear. You can keep coming back to these songs, and you can listen to them multiple times, and you will hear different things in the song.
Yeah, I think that's certainly the case with most of the bands that we've listened to. There's a lot you can keep unpacking the song and finding more nuances. Especially, yeah, I mean, definitely with Black Willows. I liked the psychedelic tone of Dead Mantra. It reminded me very much of the song "The End" by The Doors. It doesn't sound like that, but that's the impression that I got. A similar type. I said just some nifty playing, and then the tonal bricks drop into a distorted version of what we heard. I said it was like a sonic seance. And then I slipped back into the nod, and you can hear the anguish in the singer's voice, but it's like very measured. It's not out of control, but there's definitely anguish. And then it went, and it reminded me of, so since I thought of The Doors in the end, it reminded me of, there's a famous interview at the Cannes Film Festival where Francis Ford Coppola says, "My film Apocalypse Now isn't about the Vietnam War. My film is the Vietnam War." And I remember thinking, okay, this song isn't about awesome psychedelic doom metal. This song is psychedelic doom metal or shamanic rock or however you want to, put the attribution. But yeah, I mean, right off the bat, these two songs were just jams, and I was side bopping like I was Cyndi Lauper. And I know that's she had a different song title, but you get the drift. So Haze, and then we did Samsara. We picked Jewel in the Lotus and Morning Star, which were both, I mean, Jewel in the Lotus, I think, is 15 minutes and Morning Star is 25 minutes. So these are not short songs by any stretch. What were your thoughts on Jewel in the Lotus?
This is music meditation. The tone is so low and hypnotic, and the vocals are like a chant. I feel like I should, place my hands in mudra, close my eyes, and let the song carry me away. When they say shamanic rock, this is the perfect example. There's a sense of spirit and healing that I got from the song.
Definitely. I said that it was it was not really similar to Dead Mantra, but I could see it being the same band. And I said this one had more of like a Middle Eastern vibe, like something the band Ohm might put out. Like it had that sort of feel to it. And then I said it was a slow build where they just keep adding more subtle distortion. And I wrote down someone going, okay, wait, here. Oh, no, wait, here. Like I kept thinking, okay, the wave is going to crest at this moment. And it kept sort of going off in a different direction. But yeah, definitely like a cleansing, but it didn't feel rushed. And then it went in a direction I didn't expect. The drums don't kick in until 6 minutes, and then the dam breaks, and then you reach the summit or the pinnacle or the zenith. And I said I felt like a converted disciple of a religious order. So very, very much like what you had just mentioned.
Yeah.
Similar to when I heard Amygdala from Slow Green Thing. I felt like, this is what I've been looking for. I've found my home.
Yeah. It's okay. Very comforting.
Oh, yeah. And by the way, Heather's put together a playlist of these albums that are on YouTube. So if you haven't listened to them yet and you've heard us just talking about them, hit pause, go listen to the jams. You'll get a better sense of what we're talking about. Hopefully you have heard them. Anyway, I just wanted to put that in there. So Jewel in the Lotus, and then Morning Star, which, as I mentioned, was 25 minutes. So this was a lengthy jam.
Yeah. And this album came out in 2016. And Morning Star, these two songs, Jewel in the Lotus and Morning Star, these two songs by themselves could be a full album. But you get 4 more songs. So, I mean, what an absolute treat to our ears. It starts out quietly with just the guitar, and then the drums come in, and then the vocals for just a little bit. Then it slowly gets heavier. Then there's a break where it's just the guitar again, and then another slow build up. And then at the end, it sounds like it's coming from another realm.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think I wrote it begins with a solitary instrument, almost like a funeral procession, into a slow drum accompanied solid simple riff. And then I wrote, I've never done psychedelics, but I imagine this song would be the equivalent. Like you don't have to do psychedelics. You can listen to this song and you'll probably get the same type of experience. That's the sense that I got. I could only imagine what would happen if I tried hallucinogens and listened to this song. I think my head would probably explode. But yeah, but I liked how it was an arrangement of different sections. Like it was almost like an orchestral arrangement, that needed to be charted out at 25 minutes. And I said, if I had to pick one song for someone to kind of get a sense of the band at their peak, I'd be like, okay, just check out Morning Star first. And then if you like that, you'll love everything else. But that's sort of exemplary of what they do. So that was my 2 cents on Samsara. But a great albums, Haze and Samsara. And then we went into Shamora, which I think came out in 21.
Yeah.
And that was the one, just to give the listeners some context, this was the one where Heather had suggested that it was going to be heavier. And after listening to those first two albums, I thought, okay, well, maybe there was a disconnect somewhere along the communication. And then we listened to this one. So we picked two songs, Ascent and Annihilated. What were your thoughts on Ascent?
Now, Ascent for me, Ascent is the song. I can't even tell you how excited I was when this album was released. And it was released near my birthday, which made it even more special. It truly was a gift. This song is absolutely amazing. It's so heavy. It's got haunting vocals. It's slow and low. I can't get over the tone. It totally blew me away. This was another one of my favorite albums from last year. The quality of the sound on this really comes through. I could go on and on and on and on. It's just so good.
Yeah, I wrote, it echoes like you're dropping stones into a cavern, like a cavernous thing with no bottom. You just drop, and then you'll hear the echo of the stone hitting. And then I wrote tone like nothing from the natural world. Like the tone that they get is just incomprehensible. And then I wrote, when you said heavy, ... and then bam. And then it reminded me of a scene in the film The Color of Money where Tom Cruise's character gets a Balabushka cue from Paul Newman's character, which is like the greatest type of cue you can get. And he goes into the pool hall and someone asks him what he got in that case. And Tom Cruise replies, Doom. And that's what I thought of. Like, okay, the band has Doom.
Yeah.
And that's coincidentally where the creator of the video game Doom got the name for the game was from that movie, from Tom Cruise saying what he got in there, Doom. But yeah, I mean, this was, again, when you said heavy, I didn't have the proper context for it. There was nothing you could have said that would have prepared me for what I was in store for with this song. I just had to experience it. So for those of you out there who are wondering, what are they talking? I can't wrap my mind around what they're talking. We don't have the words to to be able to accurately describe the tone and the heaviness of this jam.
It's amazing. It really is.
So go check it out. I mean, if that's not a ringing endorsement, I don't know what would be. But and that was just Ascent. And then we have Annihilated. So that we're not only halfway done with our review of this album.
Oh, Annihilated. I really love the melody. The drumming is spectacular throughout the whole song. Again, it has that low tone, heavy doom. I want to point out that each of these albums is over an hour, so you get a lot of music for your money. There are also albums you can go back to and hear new things with every listen. They really are a journey, and if you like doom, if you like heavy psych, I can't recommend these albums highly enough.
Yeah, I started to feel bad that I was giving the same type of review for each song, so I went to the YouTube comments to see if something would like strike a chord, and there were a few people who kept bringing up the band Neurosis as, like, I guess a counterpart that has a similar type feel to it. I've only listened to a few Neurosis songs, so I wouldn't be able to confirm or deny that. But this particular song, I said, was probably the most close to Doom, just straight up Doom, rather than most of the other songs had either a Middle Eastern feel or a psychedelic element to it. This one seemed to be this most straight up Doom. And in that regard was probably my favorite song of the Doom that we listened to. But I could just as easily put any of these songs on and be more than pleased. that I was listening to them. So as a teacher, I don't think I ever gave an A+ for an assignment, but this is darn close. So yeah.
So what you're saying is one of these times I could possibly get an A+.
I mean, it's not beyond the realm of possibility.
Okay.
Even though
Okay.
it's never happened in my career before, I haven't ruled it out. And if you were going to make an argument for deserving an A+, this would be a solid case. I mean, really, all the bands you've suggested so far, you could probably argue. If you were to tell me about like a Slow Green Thing, I still listen to pretty regularly. Black Willows, I'll definitely listen to regularly. I know there are others that I can't think of off the top of my head, but yeah, like Low Orbit. I mean, they're just albums out there that, since you've brought them to my attention, have ended up in my rotation. So,
and that's like the biggest compliment, like the best thing that you could ever tell me was, that I suggested music and you liked it so much that you continue to listen to it. That's like the ultimate.
Oh yeah, I mean, I when we recorded our episode, not that we're talking about Black Willows now, but when we recorded our Slow Green Thing episode, I remember I actually stopped walking while I was listening to Amygdala and had to sort of process everything before I could even move again. So, and yes, sitting on my couch, catching myself in the reflection of my computer, doing the side nod, and how ridiculous I looked was like, okay, this obviously speaks volumes about how awesome the music is. So, maybe you do get an A+. I mean,
Yeah.
So there you go.
You
can put that on the fridge.
Yeah, I got an A+ from Andrew Davey.
Yep. So Haze, Samsara, Shamora, all albums you should get, listen to regularly. That's going to take us to Troll Teeth. Who are our next band. Their most recent album came out earlier this month, I believe, called March 11th. Yeah, Hanged, Drawn, and Quartered. And
and Troll Teeth is out of New Jersey. And these guys seem like they're really cool. They post a lot of funny stuff on their social media. So I really recommend following them on social media. I think you definitely won't be disappointed. This album has really nice vocals, and I noticed the mix of the vocals and the music. It was not distracting, it was the same. I can hear the vocals and I can hear the music. One is not louder or more prominent than the other. So that's one thing I definitely noticed. I saw this was their first time trying vocal harmonies, and I hope they really continue to do that in the future. I also like when artists and bands push the envelope when it comes to political and social examination.
Yeah, so I interviewed these guys a couple of years ago, which is sort of how I got in touch with them to talk about this album. So it's been nice to kind of have them on my radar already. But this, I think, was definitely a step in a different direction for them musically. I think, like as you had mentioned, trying new things like vocal harmonies. I also really enjoyed. They remind me a little bit of the band The Sword, in that musically they're still evolving and incorporating different elements, but definitely at the heart of it is good stoner or sludge metal. But like The Sword had evolved with somewhat of a progressive style or a country style or southern rock style, these guys are also sort of incorporating different elements. And the other thing that I really liked is, as you had mentioned, they've got a great sense of humor. I remember they're not a band with a lot of paradoxes, but they're a band with a lot of things you wouldn't think would go together. Like I did a social media post that was Jeopardy themed for a Fistful of Faceful, and Troll Teeth was an answer for a $500 question. And they emailed me and said we would be a $200 question, not a $500 question. So they've got a great sort of tongue-in-cheek sense of humor, but at the same time, they like this album in particular was inspired by the philosophy of Achille Beme, who has necropolitics. So it's very socially conscious, sort of what's happening in the world. So it's been interesting that they've got a great sense of humor on the one hand, but simultaneously they're also very socially conscious and empathetic. So go on.
They seem to make fun of them. They poke fun at themselves a lot.
Yeah, they take themselves seriously, but they don't take themselves too seriously. They found a really terrific balance of like being socially conscious and having a good sense of humor, and making great music. I mean, at the end of the day, that's really what it's all about.
Yeah.
It's really provocative lyrics and good sort of stoner rock that's evolving. Like they're incorporating new things. So I would recommend picking up Hang, Drawn, and Quartered. You can also find they've got other albums that are available on Bandcamp. But yeah, follow their Twitter feed. It's really, they put out funny things all the time. Really self-deprecating humor. And yeah, if you get a chance to see them, I don't know if they're going to be touring, but they're a Jersey band, so they'll probably be on the Northeast at some point. And yeah, and that's going to bring us to our final section where, so this weekend, I think I saw a video on Facebook that was put out by the channel Weedian, and it was a police officer investigating underneath what looked like a giant deflated circus tent. And it was while the song was playing, and it was like a really mellow intro, and then all of a sudden the bottom fell out of the song and the distortion kicked in, and a bunch of people ran out from underneath the deflated circus tent, and the police officer started chasing people in different directions, but he didn't catch any of them. And I just remember thinking, wow, this song has me hooked. I have to know who this band is. And I read in the comments, and someone was like, oh, yeah, this is Blind Dog. So I immediately went to YouTube and found their album, The Last Adventures of Captain Dog, which I was like, great, we have to talk about this band because this song is pure dynamite. And then I was a little bummed out to find out that they had disbanded, but apparently the album is like a really influential album in the stoner rock genre and just sort of groundbreaking. My personal favorite tracks were Coming To, Blend, Back Where I've Always Been, and Sun. So the whole album's great, but those were my, as I went through it, sort of being like, oh yeah, that's a favorite, that's a favorite, that's a favorite. The whole, thankfully, a couple of people have put the whole album on YouTube, so you can listen to it. It may be difficult to find if you're looking for vinyl, or if you want to download it, but if you have the time, I would definitely recommend checking out this. And then they've got subsequent albums too. So I'm sorry, Heather, I hope I haven't said all of your speaking points.
No, well, I did see, I did look through the comments and I did see it looks like they are gonna, like, this is this album is 20 years old or over 20 years old, or I think they are gonna reissue like an anniversary issue on vinyl. I think I read that. So
Okay.
someone had it on YouTube in the comments. So I think they may issuing this on vinyl as like an anniversary. But I can't even believe that the album is over 20 years old. I mean, it sounds relevant, completely relevant today as it would have 20 years ago. I also can't believe I haven't heard of that.
Yeah, that surprised. One of the comments I read in particular brought up, like, this is up there with some of Caius's in terms of being influential and being sort of groundbreaking. And so as a fan of the genre, I was sort of surprised that it was the first time I was listening to it.
Yeah, especially since they are considered to be so influential, in the independent underground scene. Like I could see this album being submitted to like a Ripple Music and them picking it up and coming out with a new album. That to me and they're from Sweden. And to me it would be a perfect fit. It's like like you say, like, it's got that stoner desert rock vibe to it. It would, listening to it now, I would never guess that it's that old of a record.
Yeah, well, I definitely, again, if you haven't done so already, go listen to Blind Dog. This album, The Last Adventures of Captain Dog, is in its entirety on YouTube. Heather's also put together a phenomenal playlist of Black Willows, so feel free to check any of that out. These are dynamite jams. So
yeah,
but yeah, this one was like a lost treasure that I was surprised that I had never heard. I think the album cover is great because I guess it's the Blind Dog character in the desert smoking, and it's just really sort of iconic looking.
Yeah.
And I think I've seen that picture before. like scrolling through like the YouTube algorithm or something was probably always there. I just had never heard it. So, but yeah, you should definitely check it out. It's worth your time.
Yeah.
And Black Willows too. I mean, just put it on, kick back, and then check out Troll Teeth. Check out. I'm blanking on the names of their previous albums, but they're on Bandcamp. And then really, Hang Drawn and Quartered is a musical evolution for them, incorporating new things. So definitely worth checking that out as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, this has been another phenomenal episode, Heather, and I'm glad I can give you your first A+ to end the episode. So, and we're both rocking our Beastmaker shirts.
Beastmaker, yay!
So yeah, go check out Beastmaker too. Check out all these bands. I mean, we would just be sitting here whistling Dixie anyway because this is so much fun. But as an added bonus, we have pretty good taste when it comes to music suggestions. So you should take us up on this.
Listen to what we have to say.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, that's going to do it for us, I think. So, yes. Heather, have a good one. Good to see you as always. And we'll be back next week with more jams.
Looking forward to it.